Anyone remember this? John Boyega blasts Disney for how Star Wars treated his character of colour, or its characters of colour. You know, F all. I'm the only cast member who had their own unique experience of that franchise based on their race. Now, I'm not saying he's wrong. I remember Lucasfilm and Disney categorically removing him from the poster for China. You know, a notoriously racist place. They don't like black people, right? That's not a stretch. It's not a surprise. That shouldn't shock anyone. That's just basic fact. So I'm not saying he's wrong here. You know, he absolutely, he absolutely tore Disney and Lucasfilm a new one. You know, so he spoke to British GQ back in the day. When was this? It was 3 years ago now. John Boyega opened up about the racism he faced during his time playing Finn, the ex-stormtrooper in the final 3 films in the Skywalker saga. Right? So keep in mind, Boyega had already firmly said he's not returning to Star Wars, and this certainly isn't the first time he's clapped back about the backlash he faced from Star Wars fans. It wasn't Star Wars fans, it was literally Disney, but never mind. But his latest comments might be his most direct, criticising Disney for the way it marketed Finn, as well as the lack of nuance in the film's arc compared to Rey and Kylo Ren, which I firmly agree with. So he said this: What I would say to Disney is do not bring out a black character, market them to be much more important in the franchise than they are, and then have them pushed to the side. It's not good. I'll say it straight up. I agree. And then he further said, like you guys knew what to do with Daisy Ridley, you knew what to do with Adam Driver, you knew what to do with these other people, but when it came to Kelly Marie Tran, when it came to John Boyega, you know fuck all. So what do you want me to say? What they want you to say is, I enjoyed being a part of it. It was a great experience. Nah. I'll take that deal when it's a great experience. They gave all the nuance to Adam Driver, all the nuance to Daisy Ridley. Let's be honest. Daisy knows this. Adam knows this. Everybody knows this. I'm not exposing anything. Yeah, he's not saying anything back in the day that anyone would be shocked with. But you read the title of this video. He's apparently in talks to return. So I thought it was poignant to cover this again. I'm the only cast member who had their own unique experience of that franchise based on their race. Let's just leave it like that. It makes you angry with a process like that. It makes you much more militant. It changes you because you realise I got given this opportunity, but I'm in an industry that wasn't even ready for me. Nobody else in the cast had people saying they were going to boycott the movie because they were in it. Nobody else had the uproar and death threats sent to their Instagram, DMs and social media saying black this and black that and you shouldn't be a stormtrooper. Nobody else had that experience, but yet people are surprised that I'm this way. That's my frustration. In fairness, I actually don't remember any of that backlash. Maybe he did get some, but I actually remember most people going, why has he not got a bigger role? What's going on? You know, what's going on? What's the situation there? I'm a bit confused. That was most people, right? But yeah, he's rumoured to be returning in the new Daisy Ridley Rey film. He's in talks to return. Well, I guess that money, that sweet money, means you can forgive and forget, doesn't it? I guess. I don't know. I'm not saying he's wrong with what he said previously. I think he's right. I think he was pushed to one side. I think his character was underutilised. I think Disney categorically did racially motivated changes. You know, like I said, removing him out and out from a bloody Chinese poster. It's a bit weird. It's a bit weird. You know, don't do it. I didn't have any problem with seeing him on a poster. I thought he was a cool character. I thought he was interesting. Shame that they did nothing with him. But, yeah, looks like he's coming back. Because I guess all those acting roles are drying up, aren't they, Mr. Boyega? Because he's literally been in, he's barely been in anything. He is not really doing much with his career at this point in time. And, you know, in part, I think some of it is because of his outspoken nature, and I think that's a shame. I don't necessarily think people should be penalised for speaking out about injustices that they face. I understand it's a business, though, and, you know, business doesn't want a PR nightmare like that either. But then at the end of the day, Disney shouldn't have done what they did in the first place. So, but look, hey, apparently it's all fine, because he'll just forgive you if there's enough zeros, you know, decimal points on that check. So let's dive into this. Hit subscribe if you're new here, guys. I understand I've just sort of rambled on a little bit there, but it was important to set the scene. The vitriol he spoke. The menace, the venom that he spoke about Disney, Star Wars, and even Star Wars fans. Again, do you guys remember any racism thrown his way by Star Wars fans? In fairness, I remember more people supporting him than against him, but I could be wrong. Let me know what your experience was and memory of it was. Anyway, Star Wars Episode 10. Arguably the biggest piece of news to come out of Star Wars Celebration over Easter weekend was the announcement that Daisy Ridley will reprise the role of Rey for a new Star Wars movie directed by Charmin Obaid-Chinoy, and a new rumour is claiming that one of her sequel trilogy castmates will likely be joining her. And that was big news. Don't understand why on earth they're continuing down this path, but I guess they just love losing money. Anyway, during this week's episode of the Hot Mic podcast, John Rocha mentioned that John Boyega has buried the hatchet with Kathleen Kennedy and is now in negotiations to return to the galaxy far, far away as former Stormtrooper turned Resistance fighter Finn. What? What happened to this, mate? What happened to all of this? Come on, buddy. You don't stand for anything. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Apparently just some money is all fine. Again, I'm not saying he's wrong. I think he was right. But Christ, come on. You don't sound a bit wishy-washy here, mate. You don't sound good. You don't sound like you've got conviction. I mean, categorically he doesn't have conviction, but never mind. Anyway, interestingly, both Rocha and Jeff Snyder also note that Rey will not be the lead in the project and will likely be utilised in more of a Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi mentor capacity. Oh, good. Anyway, apparently, Boyega has not officially signed on yet, but the sources that have confirmed this anyway are confident that he's hashed out a deal. So we'll likely hear that this is all full steam ahead soon. I think this is crap. I don't think anyone realistically wants to see them continue this trilogy, this storyline. Any of these people, they've already proved themselves incapable, inadequate, incompetent, all the ins, when it comes to writing these characters. So I don't personally give a shit, and I also think it reflects terribly on John Boyega, because what he said was true, what he said was right, it was perfectly reasonable, and Kathleen Kennedy just has to waft some money under his nose and he's fine. I understand we live in a world where money makes the world go round, but goodness me, there are certain things I don't do in terms of making content for, money. I don't report on people's deaths and things like that. I won't just randomly jump on hate trains. I remember the Batman was a massive hate train back in the day. People made thousands of dollars from videos on that. I had sources that counteracted that. I just don't, it's about having conviction and standing for stuff. And John Boyega, boy, you don't stand for nothing. Cheers, guys. Take care.